Most people wait to feel ready before they act. They wait for a surge of desire, a moment of clarity, a feeling they call motivation. When it doesn't come, they call themselves undisciplined and stop there. But centuries ago, Japanese warriors understood something unsettling. The mind is unreliable, and progress cannot depend on how you feel. Discipline was never meant to inspire you. It was meant to replace you. Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated swordsman, did not write about enthusiasm or confidence. He wrote about repetition, emptiness, and acting without hesitation when the moment arrived. He understood that the true enemy was not the opponent in front of him, but the hesitation within. This is where our story begins, not in ancient Japan, but in the quiet frustration of an ordinary modern life. Chapter 1. The Silent Resistance. Kenji woke every morning with a familiar weight in his chest. His plans were clear, his goals carefully written. Yet his days dissolved into delay. He believed the failure was personal, a weakness in character, a lack of motivation that others seemed to possess naturally. Each night ended with promise, and each morning began with resistance that felt impossible to defeat. What Kenji did not realize was that his struggle was not unique or modern. Zen teachings speak openly of the restless mind, forever bargaining for comfort and familiarity. The samurai accepted this restlessness as a given, not a flaw to be fixed. They did not wait for the mind to cooperate. They trained the body to obey regardless of inner noise. Motivation feels convincing because it speaks loudly, but it disappears just as quickly. Discipline speaks quietly, and that is why it is ignored. Kenji mistook silence for absence, not understanding that the most reliable forces rarely announce themselves. Chapter 2. Musashi and the Way of Repetition. Musashi lived in constant hardship by choice, sleeping outdoors and rejecting comfort. His discipline was not built from excitement or ambition, but from removing anything that weakened focus. In the Book of Five Rings, he warned against reliance on emotion, stating that one must act decisively even when the outcome is unclear. For Musashi, clarity was the result of action, not its prerequisite. Kenji first encountered this idea not as inspiration, but as irritation. The thought of acting without emotional alignment felt unfair, even cruel. Yet the samurai worldview offered a different standard. Your feelings are irrelevant to your duty. Action is not a reward for feeling ready. It is a responsibility. Discipline, in this sense, was not forceful. It was impersonal, mechanical, almost boring. Musashi did not ask himself if he wanted to train that day, just as he did not ask whether he wanted to survive a duel. The question itself was removed. Chapter 3. The Small Unbreakable Action. Kenji made a single change that seemed insignificant. Each morning, without exception, he performed one small task before allowing thought or emotion to interfere. It was deliberately simple and non-negotiable, chosen not for impact, but for consistency. No reflection, no condition, no reward. Zen practice emphasizes form before insight. You sit before you understand why sitting matters. Over time, structure creates stillness, and stillness allows truth to surface. Kenji discovered that once the action was complete, resistance weakened as if the mind had lost its leverage. Motivation had failed because it demanded continuous emotional input. Discipline succeeded because it asked for nothing extra. It did not negotiate or encourage. It simply occurred. Chapter 4. Elimination over addition. Bushido does not teach accumulation of habits, but refinement of self. Samurai removed excess from their lives, understanding that distraction multiplies hesitation. Kenji began focusing less on what to add and more on what to remove. Noise, options, and unnecessary decision points slowly disappeared. This simplification did not make life easier in a comforting sense. Instead, it made behavior predictable. Predictability became freedom, because energy was no longer wasted on self-debate. Where motivation tries to push you forward, discipline clears the path, so walking becomes natural. Kenji noticed something subtle and unsettling. The fewer decisions he made, the stronger he felt. Strength was not emotional intensity, but the absence of friction. Chapter 5. Identity forged through action. The samurai did not think of discipline as behavior. They understood it as identity. You do not act disciplined, you are disciplined. Musashi wrote that one must become the way, not follow it. Identity forms through repetition, not affirmation. Kenji stopped asking whether he believed in the process. He acted first, and belief followed slowly, without ceremony. Each completed action reinforced a quiet internal shift. He was no longer someone trying to build discipline. He was someone who executed regardless. Motivation depends on self-perception, but discipline reshapes self-perception through evidence. When identity becomes anchored to action, excuses lose credibility. There was no internal argument left to win. Chapter 6. Silence as Strength. Samurai training valued silence not as absence, but as control. The louder the mind, the weaker the stance. Kenji learned to ignore internal commentary, neither resisting nor agreeing with it. Thoughts could arise without influencing action. Zen teaches that the mind is a tool, not a leader. Discipline is the method by which the tool is kept in place. This is not suppression, but containment. Silence became the space where clarity could exist. As days passed, Kenji noticed that action now preceded emotion. Satisfaction arrived afterward, unrequested. The work no longer required emotional preparation, only presence. Chapter 7. When motivation fails completely. There were moments when motivation vanished entirely. No energy, no excitement, no narrative of purpose. In those moments, discipline proved its true value. It did not attempt to restore feeling, it replaced the need for it. Musashi wrote that in battle, hesitation equals defeat. In life, hesitation produces stagnation. Discipline acts before doubt can establish dominance. Kenji worked without emotional reward, trusting the structure to carry him forward. Strangely, fulfillment emerged not during moments of passion, but during repetition. The very absence of intensity made progress sustainable. Chapter 8. Becoming unmoved. Bushido trains the warrior to remain steady under pressure, neither inflated by success nor crushed by failure. Kenji began experiencing this balance. High motivation no longer dictated effort, and low energy no longer prevented it. Discipline detached action from mood. This detachment created resilience. When outcomes fluctuated, behavior remained constant. Over time, Kenji no longer thought of discipline as effort. It became the background structure of his day, invisible yet supportive. Strength revealed itself as consistency without drama. Conclusion: the way without feeling. Motivation is a visitor. Discipline is a resident. Ancient warriors understood this distinction and built their lives accordingly. They did not seek inspiration. They designed systems that functioned in its absence. Discipline works when motivation fails because it was never designed to wait for agreement. It removes choice, emotion, and negotiation from action. What remains is movement, guided by structure and silence. In following this way, you do not become happier or more excited. You become steadier. And in that steadiness, true progress quietly takes root.